Let's go. Hello, I'm Max Rogers. This is my family, and this is my persuasive speech. In 2021, the Center of Disease Control stated that in America alone, just under 143 million opioids are being prescribed just in the year 2020. To put this in perspective, most football stadiums are only meant to hold about 70,000 people. So this is 10,000 more than a football stadium. So if you can imagine how many people that is. The overprescription of opioids have caused many Americans to become addicted. As a public health student at Ball State, I have personally studied the opioid epidemic in both Muncie and throughout the nation. And I've seen the growth of the opioid prescriptions and overdoses over the years. I've learned that opioid addiction is so prevalent that even if it doesn't affect you, it most likely affects somebody you know, whether it be a coworker, a family friend, or just your family members. It's so prevalent that everybody is affected. Today, we will talk about the opioid epidemic in America, why opioid usage continues to rise, and why future opioid prescriptions need to be regulated. With so many opioids being prescribed, people are becoming addicted to opioids and overdosing. In 2023, the National Library of Medicine stated that over 2.1 million Americans currently are addicted to opioids. In 2021, the National Institute of Drug Abuse reported over 80,000 people died from an opioid-related drug overdose. And that's in 2020 alone, that 80,000 people were dying. And as I said before, the average NFL stadium only holds about 70,000 people. So if you can imagine all those people dying in a single year, it's pretty scary. With opioids being so prevalent, where are they coming from? In 2017, a physician posted to the National Library of Medicine saying that physicians are way too quick to be prescribing opioids. Usually they are the first solution when it comes to pain, whether it be chronic or acute pain. And when they are prescribed, usually they are way overprescribed, meaning that usually people would have great success with 5 to 15 pills, but instead they are prescribed anywhere between 30 to 60, just because that's usually the standard prescription. And this creates addiction because people are continuously taking these pills and they are using their full prescription. And by the end, usually they have some withdrawals that come with it. The Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health found that in 2018, some large opioid producing companies have paid physicians upwards of 6 figures to promote and prescribe opioids. This becomes an incredibly scary thing when it comes to morals, because now you're running into where physicians, it's in their best interest for their own bank accounts in order to prescribe prescriptions. So now it becomes more about the physician than the actual patient, which becomes an incredible problem. In 2023, Medline Plus addressed the withdrawal that comes with opioids. In a lot of cases, people will turn to street opioids like heroin because it reduces the withdrawals and it's cheaper than most prescriptions. So once you run out of your prescriptions, you can't legally get more opioids to cover your withdrawals. So a lot of people can't handle it, so they turn to the street and become addicted, and this is usually where people overdose. It's time that we hold our physicians accountable. Opioids need to be regulated and should be used as a last resort rather than the first solution. In 2018, the Mayo Clinic talked about how opioids reduce pain and increase the feeling of pleasure. Both the reduction of pain and the pleasure gives a very stimulating feeling to our brain, which causes an addictive response. When people start to take more than they're supposed to because of this addiction, opioids start to slow down your breathing or even slow down your heart rate. And in a lot of cases, when opioids are being overused, people die. The American Society of Anesthesiologists suggests physical therapy, acupuncture, anesthetic injections, and surgery as an alternative for opioids. These are non-addictive, and they fix the problem rather than simply patching the symptoms. Like surgery and acupuncture, those are really combat the actual problem, and they fix the where the pain is coming from rather than just addressing the pain. And in a lot of cases, this tends to be cheaper than even just going after regular opioids. Those that aren't even addicted are still paying a lot out of pocket in order to get these opioid prescriptions. With so many Americans falling victim to this addictive cycle, this problem needs to be addressed right now. Opioids are heavily addictive, and even those without a drug history are susceptible to them. Natural, non-addictive treatments should be our first response to pain rather than harmful opioids. Holding pharmacists accountable for opioid distribution will be the first big step to prevent future opioid addicted victims. In other words, there's no way of stopping this unless we reduce the amount of prescriptions we're giving to everybody. Thank you.